Hello, my love, and welcome to Spiritually Empowered Podcast. Thank you so much for pressing play today. How about we share a really deep breath together? Feel free to think the word release when you exhale, signaling to your body, your mind, your energy that it's safe to be calm, that it's safe to receive, that it's safe to be here now. So this is going to be a share that means a lot to me. This is something that I learned in terms of my romantic relationships, and this is a game-changing lesson. When I learned this, everything shifted for me in terms of the health and vitality and just the absolute dream relationship that I am worthy of, that my partner is worthy of. So to create the territory, the setting, I'm now 3 months into the most beautiful union that I've ever experienced. And we've been connecting for like 4 or so months. And it's like we're royals. There's so much respect. There's so much worthiness. There's so much laughter. It's like so easeful. We are speaking about our challenges. We are conflict resolution. We are resolving conflict together in such a wholesome way. We're growing those seeds of long-term relationship, and I could not be more satisfied and grateful in what we are creating together and what him and I are establishing in this relationship. So that's the setting of Ashley's current reality. In divine union with a divine masculine. Absolutely incredible. I truly feel like the embodiment of a queen, which is who I am. And I get to be my imperfect, messy, period, crampy, like all of me. All of me. So I have embodied this level of worthiness in terms of a divine union, or else it wouldn't be here, right? I would be struggling in this area. And we all have struggles in different areas of our lives, right? Or maybe not struggles per se, but growth edges and challenges, right? So for me to be in this beautiful union, I would have had to have learned a little bit about, divine union. And as any mystic knows, what we have within us is always what's reflected outside of us. So the core foundation of relationship is you to you. So let's go back a couple of years. This was 2019, 2020. You know what happened in 2020, right? This, crazy shit. Crazy shit. Anyways, so I was in a partnership that lasted about 6 months, and here's what I want to share about that. There was a moment when we were laying on his bed, and he was sharing some type of a challenge or something with me, and he touched my hand, and he said, "Ashley, I don't need you to heal me." And all of a sudden, my entire being, it's something clicked. You know how teachings just fucking click one day? And it's like, whoa, my body got that. I got that on a cellular level. I didn't just hear that. Sometimes we hear something and then years later it clicks. What it means when somebody says it clicks is that it actually gets uploaded into our wisdom body, which means that is now an embodied wisdom. Knowing is knowing information. Wisdom is embodied knowledge. Knowledge that you have become. It's become your identity. It's not something you think about. It's something you've become. It's something that you are. And it is somatic. It is in the body wisdom. And I experienced this in that exchange. It was like, and when he said that, I was probably trying to show up for him in a moment where he was being a messy, imperfect human and he was struggling in some area of his life. And what was probably happening was I was most likely trying to educate him and offer maybe advice that he didn't consent for. Right. And so what was underneath of that? So after he shared this with me and I was like, whoa, it was really sweet. It didn't come through as judgmental for him. It wasn't like, stop trying to make me perfect. Stop trying to heal me. It was like, I don't need you to heal me. And it sent me into this quest, right? It sent me into this, not necessarily a quest, But really, it sent me into this questioning and this curiosity of, whoa. And here's what I realized. I had this hat on called healer. And in my shamanic training, what we actually did was we did a ritual that was called stomping out our roles. Okay, so I have daughter, I have sister, right? So what are all the labels that you are? Partner, healer, even crybaby I had, because I was, that really sensitive soul in my family. Singers, we had all these roles, and we did a practice where we wrote them on a piece of paper. There's more to the practice, but this is all I remember. This is the gist. And we stomped them out. We did this whole ritual where we stomped out our roles. And the idea here was to not devalue the different hats that we wear, like mother and daughter. All of these are special. But the idea was to return to the essential self, to return to destiny, to return to the unlimited aspect of your being that has no face, that has no label, that has no story. Because when we get so woven into these stories, especially the story of healer, we will create problems, we will find problems, and heal, 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 heal. My entire identity, my love, was rooted in healer, so much so that if I was not healing my partner, or you can't heal anybody, or attempting to offer healing for my partner, if I wasn't doing that, I didn't feel worthy. So what this person brought up in me was, I started to have this thought like, you're telling me that me, Ashley, my presence alone is worthy of love? That's what you're telling me, right? And I probably asked that. I probably brought that up. I was like, you're telling me that my essence, me just living and being me, that's enough? I don't have to be the savior. I don't have to prove my value. So that story of healer was actually coming from an insecurity of, I don't feel fully valued or worthy unless I'm healing something. How fucking cool is that awakening? And guess what? Maybe this podcast is your awakening right now. We don't have to wait to the next challenge. We can awaken right now. You can awaken through this if this is speaking to you. How deep is your identity of healer? How deep is your identity of whatever it is? Maybe it's nurse, maybe it's mother, and these are beautiful identities, but here's the thing, they can become bondage. And not the yummy kind of bondage that I kind of like in, in sensual experiences, yet it can become the bondage that blinds us and that keeps us in repeating cycles versus really stepping out and transforming and experiencing all the dimensions of who we are. I'm so much more than a healer. I am. So I stomped out my roles. I became the I am. I became this, and there's this story, my shamanic teacher, Alberto Villoldo, that's like, essentially, and I'm going to say shaman, but this is for everybody. You have a part of you that doesn't have a face. What does that mean? It means you have a part of you that is not tied to your roles, that is not tied to your identities. Imagine a bird in the sky. You're not bound by your stories. And sometimes we can feel bound by our stories and bound by our archetypes even. Archetype of mother, archetype of singer, archetype of this. There's so much more. And my shamanic teacher told us this story about this shaman, who was brushing his teeth, or he was looking in the mirror one morning. It was like, I don't know who I am today, but I'm going to brush my teeth anyway. And that's that level of childlike wonder. It's funny. It's funny because we get so wrapped up in this bondage of who we think we are because we were that yesterday, because that we were that an hour ago. After I'm done with a healing session, I just return to being. I don't carry healer, 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 healer as my core essence in this world. That's fucking boring. I'm more than that. I'm so much more than that, right? And we can honor these roles and move beyond them with love. It's like, what else is there? Remember, this is like childlike curiosity. You don't have to be who you were yesterday. That's fucking boring, right? Who do you want to be now? Who are you going to dress up as today? A millionaire? a lover? Are you going to dress up in the most beautiful gown and just be in the lover archetype and just step into that? Do you want to step into like the risk-taking archetype or the huntress or hunter archetype and go out there and like step off the path? Try something different? When we go to step off the path, every part of us that thrives in the same, not even thrives, but that likes the same, it's going to get shaken up. I just told my sister earlier, I offered this. It's always with consent. I'm like, take it or leave it. Do I have your consent to share this, right? And it was like, you know, sometimes what's right for us, sometimes the next aligned decision or action step will bring up resistance. It will feel scary, right? And it's our job to feel in our bodies if that's that yum, like, ooh, that's off the path. That's a new experience. Guess what? New action, new result. Step off the path, receive a different level of manifestation. Back in the day, I knew that if I wanted to manifest a new partner, a new type of person, this was back in the day when I kept manifesting men who wouldn't commit. They kept bringing me into the frequency of disappointment over and over and over and over and over. Same feeling, different face, different man, same feeling, right? And so I knew after I did, as I was doing the shadow work of, is there a part of me that feels safer in the pattern of men who don't commit? Am I literally happy here? Is there a part of me? So anyways, that's not about this. I'm not going to go too deep into that in this podcast. My point here is I stepped off the path, and you know what I did? I'm going to tell you, shame-free. I knew that if I wanted to attract someone new, I was going to have to do something different. So, and I asked myself, what do I resist the most? It was dating sites. I was like, I judge it. I resist it. I think it's terrible. I hate it. That's what I need to do and I didn't even do it necessarily to find a partner. I literally didn't. I did it to resolve that level of resistance. And I did it for the pure ritual of doing something different. If you want something different than what you're manifesting, you're going to have to step off the path, and your being might feel fucking resistant to doing that. So it's our inner guru who, no one can do this for you, right? And that's the beauty in that, is you cultivate this trust in yourself. Is this resistance telling me to not do it? And this is like where brutal, fucking ruthless, loving honesty comes in. Because if we want to be free in our manifestation powers, it's gonna feel uncomfortable because this can be sexy tension, by the way. If we learn how to discern, that's actually not right for me versus, ooh, this brings up stuff for me. There's a resistance here, and I actually know that that's the right path because I have that level of quiet inside myself so I can hear my own voice. This is discernment. What a tool for discernment is meditation, because you start to clear out these emotional charges around your decision making so that you can actually feel what the right path is for you, even if it scares you. I could do a whole nother episode on discerning. Send me a DM, come and find me in the interwebs or in the real world. Come and find me and let me know if you want me to talk on how to discern your truth, because that is something I don't feel like I've mastered anything, but I've gotten pretty close to mastering that discernment. It's like when I sit in myself, I can really fucking feel what's right and what's not right for my soul. And we have to get over doing it perfectly. We're going to fuck up, maybe fuck up's too strong of a word. It's just an experiment. Oh, how did that feel? How did that feel? How does this feel? So instead of like, it has to be this way and, oh, I don't want to make the wrong choice, experiment. That's the medicine of my rising Aries for you. Yes, it is fuck around and find out. Have an experience and see how it feels in your body and keep trusting yourself as the inner guru. So this worked for me, right? Not the dating website, but I went on there. I was on there for a couple days, and what I did was I discharged that judgment of the dating website. And what I also did was step off the path. So I deleted the site. I was like, okay, nothing's coming of this, like, fine. I did it to step off the path. Check, success. I feel good about that. And then however long later, I met my previous partner, and he was a completely different kind of man from the patterning that I was experiencing. So success. Now, that relationship ended up dissolving in a really, in a pretty harmonious and clean way. I'm very proud of, that relationship. And a lot of stuff came up that hurt, and a lot of stuff was fully resolved. It feels really clean and clear. And so going back to that partner who was like, you don't have to heal me. I don't want you to heal me. That changed everything for me. From that moment on, I stopped giving my man unsolicited advice. In my partnership right now, my partner, him and I we had a fire in his house. He has this fireplace and this fire that you put alcohol in, and it's like right under this like beautiful romantic fireplace. So we were sitting there drinking cacao, pulling cards, just enjoying each other so deeply, feeling so present. And he brought up, praise, a compliment, just a reflection of how grateful he was for how I handled some challenges that he's going through. Right? I'm not going to go into that, of course, because I respect my partner, and that's not what this is about, going into the details there. But he noticed how I was available for him through his challenges without trying to help him or save him. And here was my intention, because guess what? We're all going to go through stuff, like period. We're all going to have stuff, right? And so as these things were coming up for him, my partner now, I was very methodical in how I was going to handle it. Here were my decisions with that. Number one, my main intent, and it's going to be different for everybody, different for every relationship. I'm not saying these are hard and true facts and, right, take it or leave it, make it work for you. Number one, my intention as he's going through this is to be available. To be 100%, to be as available as I can be, right? I was going to the beach and, we were in different places, and I'm like, I'm just going to be available. If he wants to call, if he wants to reach out, if he wants to spend time, great. I'm available, right? Of course, as available as it felt in integrity for me, right? Like that's not going overboard and just being available, available in an unhealthy way. That was an in integrity availability. That was number one. And number two, I was going to trust my fucking king to, one, move through this. And two, request support when needed, right? And of course I checked in. And of course I asked, how can I best support you? Often. How can I best support you? And guess what? We all go through stuff. And he asked me the same thing. How can I support you? What can I do for you today? And he follows through with that, right? So this is just how I've handled when things come up with my man. What can I do to support you? And I leave that spaciousness open. I'm not hovering. I'm not, all I'm doing is being so present. And I know in my being that he's a fucking king and that he can fucking handle this shit like a boss. That's the awareness that I hold from my learnings of trying to swoop in and fix and giving unsolicited advice. Like, that's not hot. It's literally not sexy. Let me come in and try to fix this. One, it's draining for the person giving it. Two, it can feel intrusive for the person who might not even want to receive it. Right? And so a beautiful question in relationship and to yourself even is, do you want me to just be with you and hear you right now? And just listen? And or would you like me to offer reflections, advice, or support in a way that is offering something back to you, guidance, whatever it is? Would you like me to just be with you right now? And we can ask ourselves that. And my partner and I do that for each other. Right? And it was so beautiful that he came to me and was like, that was fucking beautiful. Like how that's handled. Like, I'm grateful for that. Right? And even mentioned something like, this is paraphrasing. He said something like, I thought I was going to want you to say like, everything's going to be okay and this and that. And I didn't say that. because I just didn't feel like it was not that it wasn't truthful, but I didn't feel aligned with that, right? Of course I trust in my being that everything is going to work out in highest good, and I'm offering support in my own way, right? Yet I didn't come in and try to save him or even lead him. No, unless he sits with me and asks me, right? So anyways, and another thing that can come up in relationships when one party is moving through something is the other person feeling, that energetic weight of it. And it was also my intention to be present with the upsets, yet not take it on, and I'm proud of myself because sure, I did feel, a little anxious here and there, and I was attuning to my partner. Attuning means to feel into the other person, to feel into them, to be with them. Right? The opposite of attuning is you walk in, your partner's sad, and you're like skipping and laughing and blah, blah. You don't see them. And it's not like you have to change yourself, but it is a level of attunement. It's not like you come in and take on their sorrow, but you come in and you look at them and you're like, and you sit down and you kind of get a little more quiet and you're like, hey, love, you doing okay? Versus like, blah, 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 you're not stomping all over their energy or just coming in with, you're feeling them. That is emotional safety. Straight up. We're in Cancer season, by the way. And maybe you're watching this when it's not Cancer season. And that's fine too. But this is that energy of emotional security. Oh my God. That is a turn on, the turn on, right? Emotional safety, emotional security. So the lesson I learned was that I'm not here to fix myself first and foremost. I'm here to trust my partner that he can do this. I'm here to be available for him, for what he needs, for how I can support him. And I feel worthy and valuable just because I fucking exist in what I bring to the relationship. I don't feel just worthy and valuable when I'm healing, when I'm fixing. This was life-changing right here. Let's take a deep breath together and just see where that lands in you. What part of your body are you feeling this? Is it your heart? Is it your stomach? Are you maybe realizing, wow, I've tried to step in and fix things for other people without consent, and that can actually be hurtful for the other person. I've done it. When they're not giving consent for your advice. It's like when somebody comes into an energy healing session for me, by booking the session, they're giving me permission to go into their energetic field and help them move the stagnant energy. And sometimes I'll even ask if I feel a level of sensitivity with the person. I'm like, do you give me permission to influence your energy today? I'm not healing you, but some things are going to move, right? Your inner healer is about to be activated to the nth degree. So I hope you loved this episode. I'm going to take another deep breath and just see if anything else wants to come through. What labels, what stories, what identities are tied to your worth? And what would it take for you to know that you're worthy because you exist, because you are you. Beyond every hat that you wear, what happens when you take off all the hats and you sit with yourself? Do you feel royal? And what is something that you can do, say, or become to remember that beyond all your roles and hats and identities, you are source in a body, and you are worthy of everything you desire, thriving relationships, money like you've never dreamed of, abundance beyond your wildest dreams, because you exist, not because you're healing the world, not because you can't heal the world. You can only heal yourself, which the byproduct of that is healing for the world. So you're not broken, you don't need fixed, and neither does your partner if that is where you're at right now. So I love you. And thank you so much for tuning in today to Spiritually Empowered Podcast. Send this around if it spoke to you. Share it with one of your besties. Share it with your partner, your loved one, whoever. And I'm so excited to be with you in the next episode. See ya. Hey, love, thank you so much for tuning in today for Spiritually Empowered Podcast. I hope you absolutely loved this episode, and if you did, please share it with somebody who you really feel would benefit from these teachings and from this remembrance. I hope you have an incredible day wherever you're at in your world, and I will talk to you very soon. Love you.